Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, haunts just about every independent creator out there. You see, building a killer iOS app, that's usually the easy part. But getting it discovered in a sea of literally millions of other apps, that's the stuff that keeps us up at night, right? It's where so many developers just hit a wall. But it absolutely doesn't have to be that way. Today, we're going to show you exactly how to completely flip the script using some incredibly smart data-driven strategies and, frankly, some mind-blowing automation. Okay, let's get right into the numbers because this transformation metric is just wild. We're looking at independent developer Dan Kulkov. He used targeted app store optimization, or ASO, to take his apps from absolute zero to a staggering 6,000 organic installs, pulling in $4,000 in revenue. And honestly, the best part about all of this, ASO is a totally free marketing channel. It's working for you 24/7. You basically do the heavy lifting once, and then you just watch new installs roll in from all over the world while you're fast asleep. So how do we actually replicate that kind of success? Well, we're going to walk through a step-by-step masterclass covering what we like to call the Four Horsemen of ASO. First up, we'll tackle mastering App Store metadata. Then we'll move right into designing high-converting screenshots, followed by a look at maximizing your global revenue through smart pricing. Finally, we'll wrap it all up by showing you how to automate this entire shebang with AI. All right, let's dive into that first pillar, mastering App Store metadata. Basically, winning the search algorithm. The entire foundation of your app's discovery relies 100% on the data you're feeding into your App Store Connect page. Now, these golden rules are incredibly strict, but they are absolutely crucial. The big one? You have got to front-load your app name with your primary keyword. Think about it. If you're building a hydration app, don't just call it Waterly. You want to name it something like Water Reminder, Waterly. Why? Because when a user actually types water reminder into that search bar, having that exact phrase right at the beginning of your app's name massively boosts your chances of popping up in Apple's auto-suggestion lists. Next up, use your subtitle for those highly relevant secondary keywords, something like reminder for phone and watch. But listen, do not waste space repeating those same words in your hidden 100-character keyword field. Apple hates that. And above all else, skip the generic terms and target specific user intent. If you've got a calorie tracker, use phrases like meal logging. Don't just throw in muscle gain and hope for the best. You really want to capture the people who are looking for exactly what you built. But you might be wondering, how do you actually know which keywords to pick? Well, you definitely can't rely on guesswork here. Just take it from Sebastian Roll, the indie dev behind HabitKit. He literally doubled his app's impressions simply by optimizing his keywords. To pull this off without pulling your hair out, you can use a keyword research tool like Astro. It runs about $9 a month, and it pulls real, hard popularity data straight from Apple's search ads. No more guessing. In fact, according to Astro, 90% of their users see a bump in impressions within the very first week of updating their metadata. That is huge. Moving right along to our second horseman, designing high-converting screenshots. Because let's face it, getting discovered is only half the battle. If your visuals are a mess, users are just going to scroll right on past. People scan images way faster than they read text. So the biggest takeaway here is to steer clear of those totally horrendous, fully AI-generated interface mockups. Seriously, don't do it. A lot of developers try to save a quick 30 minutes by letting AI generate their whole interface, and it just screams low quality. It actively repels users. Modern consumers are super savvy. They can spot a weird, uncanny valley AI image from a mile away, and it'll instantly tank your credibility. What you want instead is a simple, clean design that instantly communicates your app's value. Simplicity is exactly what converts. And getting those clean designs is actually super easy with a simple 3-step workflow. Step 1, just grab 3 to 6 real screenshots of your core app interface. Straight from your phone or an Xcode simulator is totally fine. Step 2, paste those into a really basic Figma iPhone or iPad mockup template. Give it a solid background color, and leave the top third empty. And finally, step 3, you use AI to burn in translated text headings, like say, stay hydrated every day, across 50 different languages. You can even alternate those background colors, maybe swap between red and white, just to create some visual contrast as users swipe through. It's incredibly simple, highly professional, and it saves you from spending countless hours manually tweaking hundreds of images for different countries. All right, our third step is all about maximizing global revenue pricing. Because let's be real, translating your app's interface and screenshots into Thai makes 0 sense if you're still demanding an unadjusted $20 US premium from a user in Thailand. It's just not going to convert. And this brings us to a really brilliant strategy based on the GNI, or the Big Mac Index. It's all about purchasing power. For your Tier 1 regions, places like the US, the EU, and wealthy Asian countries, you absolutely maintain those fat profit margins and charge full price. But for Tier 2 areas like Eastern Europe and Latin America, you want to offer roughly a 40% discount. Then for Tier 3, which includes Africa and developing nations in Asia, you slash that price by up to 70%. Now, if your app runs completely on the user's device and doesn't have any recurring server costs, you have literally nothing to lose here. By offering these steep, localized discounts, you're locking in vital conversions in developing markets that otherwise would have brought you exactly zero revenue. It's a total win-win. Which leads us perfectly into our final pillar, automating this entire 50 locale workflow with AI. Because here is the harsh reality. Trying to manually localize your metadata, render all those screenshots, dig through in-app UI strings, and adjust pricing for 50 different countries, that is practically impossible if you're a solo developer. But enter ASO. This is an absolutely incredible, totally free, open-source tool over on GitHub. Think of it as having an entire marketing team just running on autopilot. You install it as a Claude code skill right in your terminal, and it handles everything we've covered today. It does the keyword research, it translates your store metadata, it renders those Figma screenshots with the translated text burned right in. It even updates your worldwide pricing. And get this, it actually goes into your app's code to translate the UI strings, using a special detector suite to catch all those subtle formatting bugs and out-of-context words that fluent AI translations usually try to sweep under the rug. And you get all of this just for the cost of basic API usage, which is usually less than $1 per app. Insane, right? But what really makes ASO a game changer is its core philosophy: fan out and verify, or as they say, read back or it didn't happen. Because honestly, can you realistically proofread translations in 40 different languages? Yeah, no way. So everything this tool pushes to your App Store Connect API gets immediately double-checked locally with an automated GET request. If the API trips up on a specific task, ASO won't just leave a silent error, it actually generates a step-by-step manual checklist for you. It guarantees that your pricing and your metadata are absolutely flawless before you ever hit that submit button. So, this brings us to the ultimate question. You've poured your heart and soul into building this app. Maybe you even vibe coded the whole thing. The real question is, are you ready to vibe the ASO? The tools are out there, they're completely free, and the data clearly proves that this works. There is a massive global audience just waiting to discover what you've built. So grab that API key, pull the skill down to your terminal, and finally start driving the organic traffic your app truly deserves. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Let's get to work.